Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Wolfgang couldn't finish the Sergeant Lemmy's shadow and fell upon his face. His elbows gave away from fear, and he fell, hitting the chain hard.
Well, chit-chatting, are we?
I felt ashamed. My curiosity put Wolfgang in a tough spot. A powerful wave of shame, exhausted, overwhelmed me. I dropped to the ground, as well as turned on my back, breathing heavily, Sergeant Lemmy's frowned face looming over me.
The newbie decided to prove himself. Frame of his comrade, or did the comrade frame the newbie?
It's all my fault, man. Wolfgang was doing nothing to do with it.
That's something for me to decide. After the training, Wolfgang will go with me to dedicate all of his free time to reconstruction of the Western Wall. Perhaps Nemo will teach you to keep your big mouth shut, just like it should be.
I jumped to my feet and took position at attention next to Sergeant Lennon. Let me do that, ma'am.
Stop arguing. If I say another word, I will come up with another punishment for Wolfgang.
Wolfgang jumped to his feet too. His frightened and guilty face drove over my inner complaints being tied up. At the moment, I wished the earth I could swallow me up, and just no one could see my humiliation.
The time for the plank is not up yet. Back to position now.
I didn't want to obey, but there was no other way. Wolfgang managed to hold the plank on his shaking hands quite a long time, and then I could deal with my feelings, and the rest of the time soldiers sneered and watched me fall down from the height of my extended arms again and again. The next stage of training was shooting practice. Soldiers were standing in 3 columns in front of the training targets. The first person in each column had to shoot first. It was one of them. Sergeant Lemon had a revolver for each of us.
You could, of course, put a few holes in these others' stomach. That's up to you. But it's up to me to shoot down the losers afterwards. You should know that it's for the best that you don't mess with me. Is everything clear? Do you get it, Nemo? Or do you not know how to use this thing?
I turned the revolver to my hand, a little, and examined it from all sides. I felt confidence instinctively. I could do it.
You can see ammo lying in front of you. Don't forget to load your weapon. Otherwise, it will be fun to watch you bewilderment. Load, shoot all 6 bullets, reload, fire another 6 shots. That's it. Start my command.
I looked at the thin table in front of me. Regular revolver rounds were already loaded in a speed loader. There were a few more rounds next to it. Seems like before a session, I would have to load the revolver manually.
Go!
The cylinder opened, easily loading the revolver into 6 shots. I tilted the weapon backwards and bit the gravity, made the empty shells fall out. It was repeated all at once again. Shooting was easy. My body acted on its own. My muscles remembered everything where to move.
Nemo is first. All shots have been hit the target. Well done. Come on, rookies. Move. You've already shamefully lost to the newbie.
Sergeant Lennon's words made me come back to my senses. Was I first? Really? To make sure I had heard it right, I turned to look back. My eyes met with Oliver, Helga's, Yalkov's, and Hans, who looked just as surprised as I was. The instructor, on the other hand, didn't think anything about my luck. After that, Sergeant Lennon divided us into 2 groups. One group had to work hard with Gembar training, and the other had to shoot infinitely long. Then the groups had to swap and then continued until the soldiers started moaning from exhaustion. After the training, Yalkov and I stayed to labor repayment. Sergeant Lennon made us polish the weapons and collect the shells. She brought us a bottle of water, which we could share, and left with a promise to come back and check our work. I was incredibly thirsty and ready to dry the whole bottle in one gulp, but Yalkov took it away from me just in time. So it seems you're not a bad shooter, almost as good as me. He added anything to the bottle, took a sip, and looked at me with the same piercing eyes. It does seem like that. Do you want to tell me you forgot that too? Yes, I didn't remember that. It just happened on its own. He got lost in this thought for a split second, and it seemed like he believed me, but his next phrase forced me to stop dreaming about something like that. Perhaps it was the other way around. You pretended to be weak the whole day, but during the shooting practice you forgot to control yourself. If you don't believe me that much, you can share your suspicions with Wanger. I didn't wait for his response and let out into the targets a small debris lying there. Just as I go to work on it, his words made me stop. What if I shoot you down right now? He was standing in front of the table and held a revolver as extended hand, which aimed right at me. I froze. Do you want to kill me here, right now? Why not? Your death will tell us a lot. Who you are. What you are. I had to stay reasonable. He wouldn't do anything to me. But it also won't tell you where I came from and why I was here specifically. And you won't tell that either, right? I can't do that now, but once I find out, I will share it with you. Yalkov didn't move and returned to whole body to face him, awaiting his reaction. Bang, bang. I flinched unwillingly. Yalkov withdrew the revolver. Inconvenience, Nemo. If someone else was here instead of me, you would have already been dead. I was still standing, not even moving a muscle. Yalkov's behavior scared me. Do you know something about me? Yalkov was polishing the training revolver and stopped at my question. What do you think might be the answer? His voice sounded protective, proactive. I wanted to answer but refrained from it. Most likely Yalkov predicted my reaction as he got back to work without even waiting for a reply. I didn't like his awareness, which perhaps I only imagined. After the training, I entered Wanger's office. He was waiting for me, standing by the window. Greetings, Nemo. Take a seat. I didn't move right away. I waited for the commander to sit down. First and only then I took a seat, the armchair facing him. There was a sealed envelope lying on the table. I looked at it curiously, and Wanger noticed it right away and smiled. He covered the envelope with his hand and pulled it closer to himself. Do you find it interesting? Did you learn everything soon? First to share your observations with me? Don't you think it's a bit too early? You can't just learn everything just in one day. That is indeed so, but you must have the first impressions. I'd like to hear them. I remained quite quiet for some time, gathering my thoughts together. Wanger was waiting for my answer. I couldn't lie. The commander could sense it, and once to lose all trust. And without his support, my future could go nowhere, and could pass. Who would you like to hear about first? Wanger connected his fingertips in his hands and drew them to his mouth. You could start with anyone. I am even curious to who you might pick. I think you should know about Yalkov. Is something wrong? I have a tough time with him. He doesn't get along well with people in general. I don't think he has friends or buddies, and Yalkov is also keeping his eye on everyone a lot, especially me. He doesn't even believe me that it doesn't even try to. Why do you think he acts this way? I think it's because of the war. Maybe he's afraid of it, or he's afraid of people. He avoids them in his wits and pull out some trick on him. And how do you feel about him? I looked away and didn't want to tell the truth. There was something embarrassing about my feelings, but Wanger was waiting for my answer. He scares me, but more afraid of his insight and his threats. At some point, I even felt like he knows about my past, even though myself, I don't remember it. I don't understand Yalkov. I don't understand what he does. What what he wants and what he tries to achieve with his provocative behavior. I find him curious, but I'm not sure which should become close friends. I wouldn't want to have such a friend. Wenger nodded subtly several times. Is that so? Good. Tell me about someone else. Doris seems to like the most harmless soldier. And why is that? She focuses her attention only onto herself, and the opinion of others is very important to her. Why do you think so? She tries to be original. It's not called for. According to her, being original means to behave in a manner different from everyone else. Turn everything topsy-turvy. And how do the other members of the squad treat her? They don't take her seriously. Some of them even dislike her. The sad thing is that she knows that. What do you make of her yourself? Doris doesn't stand out that much against the background of others, but in general she seems like the kind of sensitive person. Thank you for your sincerity, but you do understand that you do not have to share that much. Maybe you're curious about Ruth. She's quite peculiar. Yes, I'm very curious. I know she calls herself Rufus. Yes, she doesn't consider herself a girl and asks to be treated like a man, but nobody takes her seriously. And you? Me? Actually, it's hard for me to say. I think that there's two personalities living inside her. She swings from one extreme to another. She could have just get confused on her own feelings. I respect her choice. She's easygoing and at the same time can make it tough to talk to her. Her reactions and behavior is very unpredictable. Ruth has enough confidence, bravery, and socialism. She is strong and loud sometimes. Too loud, even. She says it makes her laugh sometimes, especially when she doesn't understand what was wrong about it. When I finished talking, Wenger sat back in his chair and looked long and hard at me. I became tense. That's enough, Nemo. I see that you are sincere, and I highly appreciate it. In part, my next request is a bit rash, but due to the recent attack, I have to decide to speed up process and ask you to carry out my request now. Do you remember our deal, or do you not? I nodded. I hope that you are still interested in having me a hand in the life in the future. Our deal is still in effect. I do not even doubt it. Wenger smiled and suddenly leaned to the table, drawing closer to me. His expression became serious and his voice quiet. I believe you, Nemo. Only that makes me ask for your help. Do you understand? The case is all about to show you is one secret. Nobody can know about it. Not even a single soul. Do you understand? I had my heart in my throat. A cold sweat bended my brow. I didn't want to be involved with secrets, and it could lend to trouble in the future. However, I already agreed, so I nodded again. I know that you are very capable of that. You can solve crime. You do not remember anything, and you do not have time to establish relationships, so I trust that you want it for the same for you. Wenger pulled out an envelope and showed it to me. Here are all the details at my disposal. That is all I have. What's inside? A picture of a corpse and a small article. A corpse? You asked me to investigate a murder case? Why would you need this? Exactly. I understand you're perplexed, Nemo, but you are not in the position to ask me that yet. I need answers. Perhaps you might understand my motives, but I will not say any further for now. I didn't like that kind of explanation. You want to know answers, but you keep me in the dark entirely. Not only about the murder, I'm talking about everything. Do you think ignorance is bliss for me? Wenger leaned back in his chair again and folded his arms. His expression became sour and annoyed. We made an agreement, Nemo. You must understand that I have the upper hand here. Not you. Remember, all that should happen in due time. If you manage to succeed in this task, you will not have to worry about my support in the establishment of your future. I didn't like this manipulations. I didn't like to be used by his power. My complete lack of awareness, not only about the world and even about myself. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't find any case against his beliefs or courage to make a stand. I was trapped in the hands of the skillful puppeteer. If solving a crime could help me get out Wanger's spiderweb, I had to cling to the opportunity. Maybe only that could help me take the initiative. I tried to get my thoughts together and think about the case. The envelope caught my attention once again. What should I do with this? My finger pointed to the envelope. I need to know who killed him and why. What about the clues? How should I solve this crime? Most likely I don't know anything about the victim. There's an article inside. You can find some leads there. I have the information in someone of the squad that knows about the murder. Maybe even a lot more than I expect, but that person is as silent as a grave. Do not tell anyone that I have anything to do with the investigation. If you are going to discuss it with your comrades, do not say a word about me. Make up a legend for yourself, just in case. Your bluntness might scare off the witness. Do you understand? I will give you the envelope and with all the information, but by no means should you carry it with you. Hide it so that no one can find it. Why don't you investigate it yourself? You could just say the word and it would be enough to make a person talk. Wenger hesitated. I do not have the time to deal with it. Moreover, I couldn't start interrogation of the soldiers myself. We'll spill the beans to the general, and I do not want that. I do not want him to know about this. But I could do that too. No, you could not. General should not see you. You are too suspicious, and he is rather a dogmatic man. He will never agree to believe a stranger that I give them a chance to fight alongside him. But others could babble about me. No, when the general arrives, he talks to me directly, or each person in my squad individually. That's news. What if one of the soldiers tell him, "That is your task, to get on their good side. Within my personal memory, they have never turned in their comrades. Those guys know what will happen to my boy found in the woods and the so-called amnesia." I didn't like my new role. I didn't want to execute it. I had to lie to everybody to find out the truth. Wouldn't they answer my lies with lies? I tried to create a pattern out of all this information. So you're saying I can't tell them that I'm investigating a murder and shouldn't show them my interest in the case or mention your name? That is correct. You got it all right. Moreover, try avoiding talking to your soldiers from another squad. The less they see, the safer it is for you. Where should I look for the information about this murder? I gave you everything you had. You could just look for some odd newspapers in the archive. Subtly, you'll know, subtly talk to your comrades. When did this crime occur? I do not know. You have to figure that out as well. This means the only clues I have are in the article and photo. Yes, you can take them, but do not carry them with you. No one should find this with you. Hide them well. I took the envelope and put it in my pocket. I would have to find a safe place which would hardly anyone ever visited. I trust you, Nemo. I believe in you. Remember my promise, remember your wish. I stood up from my seat. If that's that, then I should probably go. I will start investigating today while I still have time. Wenger stood up too, unexpectedly held out his hand to me. I didn't resist and shook his hand slightly. Good luck, Nemo. had nothing to answer. The picture of the corpse was burning my skin through the thick fabric of my pants. Could the secrets of a dead man save the life of a living one? Could the answer lead to even more mysteries in the end? I had many questions, which only contents the envelope could answer. With desperate hope, I looked down at my feet. Neat flooring boards in Wanger's office. The future depends on me, on my decision. Thank you for playing the demo! Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is all for Guilty Parade. I absolutely loved this journey so far. It was a fantastic game all the way through. My overall thoughts for it is that if it could be for later down the release chain, if they could maybe add some more character detail and add a little less character detail, because there's a lot of fluff right now amongst the main story, and there's not a whole lot of story. It's just a lot of fluff that makes the story. I mean, that's fine for some people. Just, from what I see on GameJolt, it's supposed to be a multi-episode saga. When more episodes come out, I will assuredly do them. But please, check out the demo, support the developers on GameJolt. It is a fantastic game, and I recommend it to anybody that wants to play it. Well, I'm Pterracactus. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.